Have you thought about using partnerships to help buy a short-term rental, but find yourself a little confused or stuck on how to actually structure that partnership? If so, then this video is what you need to watch. We're going to break down the different ways you can structure a partnership to make it a win-win for all of the partners, and we'll share some of the exact partnership structures we've used in our business. Now, one of the questions I always get is, Tony, how do you structure your partnerships? I get it in my DMs, I get it in the comments on my posts, I get it in emails, and pretty much any way that people get in touch with me. So we figured it'd be a good idea to share our thoughts on partnerships and how you can use them to help build your short-term rental portfolio.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, we should address one really important point. I think most people ask the question about how to structure a partnership because they're hoping to discover this perfect or golden partnership structure that makes the partnership work perfectly and stress-free and awesome and everything. But the truth is there is no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to structuring partnerships.
What?
And honestly, it's impossible for us to tell you how you should structure your partnership because we don't know all of the specifics of your situation.
Yeah, we don't know what your goals are and what your strengths are. We don't know what your potential partner's goals are or what their strengths are. And depending on your own unique situation, every person will have and wants something different out of a partnership. So just kind of keep in mind and understand as you watch the rest of this video that we're not giving you some super secret recipe that will lead to the perfect partnership.
Can I have the secret formula?
No! Because I don't know if that exists. Instead, we're just sharing what we've learned and partnering with other investors as we've scaled our portfolio.
And we've partnered quite a bit. We have 12 active listings, and of those 12 properties, we have partners on 8 of them. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. And we have another 5 properties under contract, and we have partners on 4 of those.
So we want to share how we've structured some of those partnerships. But before we do, let's talk about some of the options you have when you're actually structuring a partnership. There are a few components that you should consider when putting together your partnership. And we've kind of played with these different components and the different partnerships that we've put together. So we've gotten a taste of all these different things. Yeah. So I'll run through what those components are, and then we'll talk about how to use them to structure things. So first is equity. And when we say equity, we're talking about how much ownership each of you retains in the property. The equity is important when it comes to splitting the money that comes from the sale or the refinance of the property, or how the tax benefits are split.
Next up is the profit split, which determines how much of the profit each partner gets. And we should clarify that the equity split and the profit split are not always the same. For example, you can set it up so that one partner has 25% of the equity in the property, but that same partner gets 50% of the profits, which means that partner gets more upside from the monthly cash flow, but less upside when the property finally sells.
Next is the management fee. If you're going to be the person managing the property daily, it might make sense to charge the property some sort of management fee to compensate you for your time. Property management is time consuming, right? Ask me and my wife, yes, right? Like, we know this. So it's totally reasonable to compensate one of the partners for taking care of that job. It's a very valuable job. Even if you buy the best property, if you manage it poorly, it's not going to be a good investment.
The last component is what's called capital recapture. When we say capital recapture, what we're basically asking is, does the partner who contributed more capital get repaid first before splitting the profits?
And this can happen if the property sells, or if you refinance the property, or the capital recapture can happen from the monthly cash flow. So let's give you guys an example. Say that partner A invested $100,000 to purchase the property, and say that 3 years later that property sells for a profit of $180,000. If you're doing a capital recapture, partner A would take $100,000 out of that $180,000 profit to repay their initial investment, and then the remaining $80,000 will be split evenly between partner A and partner B. Or another way to set up the capital recapture is that maybe 100% of the cash flow goes towards partner A until they're fully repaid. You can set up the repayment however you'd like there's no right or wrong answer here.
You know what that made me think of? Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, you know, when he's like, he gives different options, you know, like royalties and blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Think like Mr. Wonderful.
Are you worth $10 million? Hell no.
So as you think through those different components, play with different options to see what makes you happy and what makes your partners happy.
So before we move on to the different structures that we've used, we would really appreciate if you guys could give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit that little bell for notifications. We are still a new channel, and every new subscriber really does mean a lot to us. So if you're enjoying the content, please do subscribe.
Also, be sure to connect with us on Instagram. I'm at Sara Rad, he's at Tony J. Robinson, and also follow us on TikTok at The Real Estate Robinsons.
Now, we've also created a totally free download for all of our subscribers. If you head over to alphageekcapital.com/calculator, we've put together a free tool that helps you analyze properties that you're considering purchasing as a short-term rental. And I've literally had people tell me that this is like, we should be charging for this. That's how helpful it is. So if you don't have it yet, make sure you go grab it. Last but not least, if you're not yet on Airbnb as a host, and you're thinking about hosting, be sure to sign up using our link in the description. You'll get a cash bonus for signing up, and we'll get a small cash bonus for referring you as well.
Okay, so now that you have a basic understanding of the different components of the partnership structure, let's break down a few examples of how you can piece them together by going over a few sample structures.
All right, so sample structure number one. Let's say that partner A brings 75% of the capital that's needed to purchase the property. And partner A also retains 75% equity ownership in the property, right? And then partner B brings 25% of the capital, and they also retain 25% of ownership in the property as well. So basically what we're saying here is that the amount of capital contributed by each partner equals the amount of ownership that each person has in the property. And since both partners contributed capital, there's no need for either of them to be paid back when they sell the property. They'll just split the profits according to their ownership percentages. Really cut and dry. Now, both partners are responsible for making any major decisions surrounding the property, but let's say the partner B manages the day-to-day operation of the property, right? They're the go-to person on the ground. So partner B also takes a 15% management fee for their daily work. Now, this is the exact structure that we used for our very first partnership. We found a partner who was willing to carry the mortgage and contribute the majority of the capital. And in exchange, we would set up the property and continue to manage it on a daily basis.
So let's look at another structure. Sample structure number 2. Let's say that this time around, partner A brings 100% of the capital and they carry the mortgage. Partner B found the deal and will manage the property on a daily basis. Partner A keeps 50% of the ownership and partner B keeps 50% of the ownership. But whenever the property is sold, partner A gets paid back their initial investment before the profits are split. Now both partners agreed to split the profits 50-50, so there's no management fee paid to the partner B for managing the property on a daily basis.
Now, this is a structure that we used to purchase one of our recent properties. Our partner was happy because they bought into a strong cash flowing asset and didn't need to put in really any work to make it happen. We were happy because we were able to add another great property to our portfolio without putting any capital into the deal. And this specific property required a larger down payment because the purchase price was almost $800,000.
And let's review one more sample structure. Sample structure number 3.
In this scenario, let's say that partner A brings 100% of the capital and they carry the mortgage. Partner B found the deal and will handle all of the property management. The partners agree to split the profits 50-50, but partner A keeps 75% of the equity since they brought all of the money and they're the ones carrying the mortgage, and partner B keeps 25% of the equity since they contributed no money towards the capital. So this is similar to the first structure, but notice that the equity percentages and the profit split percentages are different. And you can do that, right? There's no right or wrong answer, right? We're just trying to show that you can mix and match the different components however you want to.
Now, one thing you might still be wondering is, Tony, Sara, how do you decide how much equity each of us gets, or who gets the management fee, or whatever? So many other questions. To answer that question, you have to look at the value that each of you is bringing to the partnership. Who's bringing the capital? Who found the deal? Who's carrying the mortgage? Who's going to manage the property on an ongoing basis?
Basically, you need to start identifying the different roles that each partner will play and then work together to decide how valuable each of those roles are to the partnership. If one partner found the deal, they lined up the financing and they're going to be managing it on a daily basis, and the other partner, all they did was bring the capital, then maybe a 50-50 split makes sense. Or heck, maybe in your partnership, maybe 70-30 makes sense, right? Maybe you guys value the management more than the capital. It all depends on what you guys want. My point here is that there's no right or wrong answer. We've been saying this over and over again. As long as you're not breaking any laws, you can literally set it up however you want to. I think one last thing to call out is that it's also helpful to try and identify what your unique abilities are. Like, we know for ourselves that our unique abilities are finding the deals. We know that our unique abilities are like the systems and infrastructure we have in place to manage all of the short-term rentals. Like, we've gotten pretty good at that, right? How to set them up efficiently, quickly. Knowing the regulations, the permitting process, having the cleaner, the handyman, like, we've got all those pieces in place. Yeah. That's a unique ability that we bring to a partnership. Even if you're new, it doesn't mean you don't have a unique ability. Like, if you're really good at project management, then you probably will be good at setting up a short-term rental. If you're really good with technology, then you might be good setting up the dynamic pricing or using the channel manager. So again, think about where you bring value and then try and assign some kind of dollar amount to that value, to that skill that you bring to the partnership. Another comment to kind of add in there is I think a lot of people that come to us and ask about the partnership structures, typically it's people that have the desire, have the ability to manage the short-term rental and run the short-term rental, but they're lacking on the financial side. So either they can't get approved for a loan, or they don't have the capital that's needed to close on a deal. I think the best way for you to approach a potential partner is to find a really good deal first. And that's easier said than done, but that's through building relationships with agents in your market. That's by analyzing a lot of deals, submitting a lot of offers. And once you have something that's under contract, then go out and try and find a good partner to work with you on that. Most real estate contracts, you have a little bit of time to walk away even if you lock it up. And I think that pressure of knowing that you have it under contract will kind of give you the kick you need to go out there and find the right person to work with. But you would be surprised at how many people are out there that have the capital, they have the financial means to buy a short-term rental, but they don't have the time, they don't have the desire, and they don't have even the ability, right? So they're looking for someone to help them break into an asset class like short-term rental. So there's lots of options out there. You just gotta spend the time to find the right person to work with.
Well, that's it, guys. Hope this video was helpful. And if you have any follow-up questions, drop them below and we'd love to help answer them.
All right, guys, I'm Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And we are
the Real Estate Robinsons.